208 for Cessna. Let's begin by putting the blueprints. Go to Sketch Tools, Sketch Tools, go to Sketch Picture, and look for your reference image. Let's begin by the side view. The length of the Cessna 208 is 11.5 meters. So after doing that, make sure you copy this generated figure. It's very important to help us to position the other images correctly, at least in scale. So rename this to side. It's having Sketch Picture 1, and let's go to the right plane, sketch, and pick a center line, and this will help us in positioning the next reference image, which is the top view. So come to top plane, select Sketch Tools, Sketch Tools, Sketch Picture, select the same blueprint, and let's go to top view and paste the generated figure we had copied. Okay, and rotate this view by 180 degrees. Okay, and position it slightly in the center. You won't always be accurate in this, but at least to help act as a good reference point. And let's exit that sketch and focus on the front view. You can either double tap or you tap once and press F2 on your keyboard. So that is our top view. So let's go to the front view. Decide to show this front plane and go to Sketch, Sketch Tools, and Sketch Picture. Select the blueprint and paste the generated figure. And, use the center line to guide you. As you can see from here, center line is aligned with the landing gear. Still below. Okay, double tap, front, right click on front and add it to your folder reference, and drag and drop the previous views, and let's save this. Okay, Cessna 1. Since we'll be modeling in parts, let's create copies of this This one will be Cessna 2, at least 3 copies. Cessna 3 and Cessna 4. Okay, so in Cessna 1 we shall focus on the fuselage. Let's use this approach of creating mini planes at different points. Okay, make sure you get as many reference images as possible to help guide. Okay, this is okay. I always advise you use the front plane as your first reference point instead of the newly created plane, because you could easily delete this plane later or modify, and it already has features you have connected with it, and it will bring a lot of errors. As the front plane, most of its part, it's always not tampered with, it's always fixed, just like the top and the right. You always just use them for reference points, but in some other planes you can be tempted to modify its location when modeling, and it will bring for you problems. So slightly at this point for the bend, and inside one more plane. So click front plane, go to reference geometry under features, click the drop down and choose the option of plane. I'm assuming you're well versed with navigation using the mouse. SolidWorks, I'm able to generate this view, the side view. We'll just explain that briefly. You can press spacebar and it will give you the many options: left, front, right, top, and that. Or you can click on this drop down. Okay, now I'm using my scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Let's begin generating profiles here. So select, let's first hide this sketch. You normally need for now. So go to right plane, sketch, select spline. Make sure you choose the front plane first and the newly created plane adjacent to it, and be able to maneuver the spline slightly resembling that profile. Let's go again, front plane. Okay, this one will be a bit tricky. Okay, need that one first, then this curvature. It's okay. Using the same technique, let's generate the remaining shapes using the spline. Okay. Okay. You won't always be 100% perfect in generating the required profile, but try as much as possible to be nearly accurate in the shape you're creating so that you generate a fantastic model. Okay. Moving on. Almost finishing the side. Okay. Another precaution as you're generating the profiles, one thing you have to constantly doing is saving your progress. Click this button to hide everything because there's still a sketch, and if you right click on this and suppress, you can be able to see the progress of what you're doing. So right click, bring them back. Let's go to 3D sketch, select plane, select the intersection point, and go to top view, and okay, let's exit, go to the top sketch picture and adjust this. Okay, that's better. Don't worry about the other saved parts. This one specifically will help only for the fuselage. The other parts, maybe we shall create the propeller and the wings. Okay, go back to 3D sketch. Top view. And then select this last point, press Ctrl on your keyboard, select this plane, and select one plane. Now it's tied this point and the first point, and let's go to this and see. Okay, that's fair enough. For convenience, let's hide this, select this first plane, select sketch, and using this plane, this first point, so I'm in focus first. Can first hide the reference to give you a better preview. Select the first plane, go to sketch, pick this plane, this point and that point, exit, and bring back the reference. Select this, go to the front view, and adjust the curvature. As you can see, we are just going to create a profile for one part. After that, we shall be able to mirror it. So still on plane 1, click sketch, then the remaining part, and then again go to the front view, okay, plane 1, remove its visibility, and let's go to the side view, save these photos, and 3D sketch, top view, just, and then make sure this point is coincident with the plane. Select plane 2, sketch, connect the 2 points, this one and that one, go to front view, adjust the curvature, and connect the remaining parts. Still on plane 2, sketch, this one. If you're not seeing well, then the trick. Okay, so these are the 2 points of interest. Plane 2, this and that. Can as well add many splines to help prepare a better curvature, but this one will do. So go to the front preview, and align this. Okay, and let's go to the next part, 3D sketch. Okay, and top view, and suggest, right side this plane, select this sketch, go to front, okay, this and that. And it is plane 3. From this progress, I think you get the MO of what I'm trying to do here. Connecting the points and then using the 3D sketch. I think you get the general idea. It is one way of doing it, but take 3D modeling as a way of complex problem solving. You can as well approach it from another angle, provided you are arriving at final destination. Always pick what's more convenient with you. Let's say in this sketch, this where the 3D sketches are appearing, could as well decided to put a plane so that the line onto it, but this is one way, like I said. Many other methods you could have used to generate this. There is not only one limitation. You can as well be flexible and achieve the same result. Okay, let's join. Okay, this point and that point. But let's go back to the 3D sketch again. I don't think it's coincident in the plane. Go to top view. Okay, it's not. Select plane 4. Make sure it's coincident. And this plane for our next target. Select the 2 points, this and that, and then go to the front view, adjust the curvature. Okay, and connect the next 2 points, and notice still plane 4. This point and this. Let's see. Okay, that's correct. Thought I'd put the spline on the origin. It's fine. Okay, and then 3D sketch. Press space bar. Go to top view. Okay, and then I display, connect the 2 points. Okay, let's generate some bit of a curvature. If you're not so sure of the generated shape, can always come and pick a reference image. So this is what we are looking at, this endpoint, this endpoint. And connect the last 2 points. We shall move on to the next phase. Select this. Okay. In 5. All right, almost there. Okay, there it is. Okay, now let's suppress the reference. Remove this. Let's go to the next phase. Save. Okay, go to boundary surface. Select the first 2 sketches and then the guide path. Okay, that's done. Same procedure. This and that. Okay, all right. Okay. Like I said before, can as well use the other methods to come up with these shapes. This tutorial is meant to just show you how I came up with mine, and also to guide you in your different projects. As well, you can highlight a project of interest which you would like me to work upon. I'll be very glad to participate in that. Just leave a comment in the comment section, and I will look through it. Okay, let's wind up. Click connect. selectors and generate a better shape. So that's phase 2, and phase 3 is mirroring what we have generated. Phase 1 was adding blueprints on the 3 side, top and front, and phase 2 is coming up with the different shapes and profiles. So we shall mirror this on the right plane, or using the right plane as references. Go to features, select mirror, and go to bodies. You can see the surface bodies we have created there. Bodies to mirror, double click or double tap so that the bodies are instantly selected, and as well see the preview coming. Okay, so let's see. Bring back the reference. Okay, you see. All right. Now let's add the windows, windshield. Okay, so still on the right plane. Okay, let's see. Let's go to the side view. Let's go to wireframe. So let's start with the side windows. So right plane sketch. Let's select windows. This is the Cessna 208 Caravan. And then we see the reference images. This is meant for practice, not focusing on documentation or supreme accuracy. Don't get too strict on what I'm doing. It's maybe not the correct dimension. This is just for practice. Okay, let's fillet these edges so that they become smoother, not so tight. And let's add one more. This. Okay, and let's merge this. Okay, and also fillet. Right click and zoom to fit. Where did it go? Go side. And let's go back to fillet. Let's reduce this. Alright, so let's go back to solid preview. We show the edges and inside the reference images. So that's what we have. Let's see with the reference images. Win check. Okay, it's fine. features, curves, split line. Select the faces which are going to be intercepted, or the ones which are going to be affected by these windows. This is inclusive as well. And this, do it on either sides. I think on the right side is passengers alight the plane. Okay, we shall put a door later. Where's the door? The door should be this one. Okay, right. Let's now the windshield. For that I prefer the front view. Okay, so choose a front plane and go to sketch. I think one side is enough to be used, and then just mirror. Okay, let's this and just opening. Okay, so okay, pick a center line and use it as a mirror reference. Okay, let's rotate and see to come. Okay, with the front view, and this point just this a bit, and even this. Okay, go to mirror entities, select items to be mirrored, select construction line as the reference point, and go to split line, select the two faces. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, for now, let's see the fuselage. Okay, for this part, can use fill the surface to draw a pattern. Okay, and fuselage.